welcome to Drowsy Water Ranch in Denver, Colorado. Colorado is located in the Midwest region of the United States. Before it was explored by the Europeans, Colorado was inhabited by the Pueblo peoples from AD 550 to 1500 in the Mesa Verde region. The Mesa Verde region is named after Mesa Verde, a mesa in Colorado. A mesa, meaning table in Spanish, is a medium-sized, flat-topped hill. The Pueblos started out as hunter-gatherers and hunted and gathered their food. They ended up farming at around 500 BC. In the 19th and 20th centuries, however, Europeans began arriving to Colorado. As the coast began to fill up, people started moving to the west so they could own land. In the Homestead Act of 1862, President Abraham Lincoln declared that any settler who worked 160 acres of land could own it. The land was taken from the Indian tribes that lived there. These tribes were called the Plains people. They were nomadic and hunted buffalo. Homesteading, or using the Homestead Act, was actually very difficult. Many immigrants hadn't experienced this climate before. And with the climate came new challenges that they weren't ready for. In 1859, gold was found in Pikes Peak, Colorado. The population bloomed as 100,000 people came over hoping to get rich quick. It died down in 1861. In 1890, President Benjamin Harrison got rid of the Homestead Act. The West was closed.
Drowsy Water Ranch happens to overlook the Continental Divide. So, what is a continental divide? According to National Geographic, a continental divide is a naturally occurring boundary or ridge separating a continent's river systems. Each river system feeds into a distinct ocean, basin, bay, or sea. Separating drainage basins or watersheds, a continental divide indicates precipitation that falls on one side of the divide will flow to one basin, while on the other side, precipitation will flow to another, often creating the distinct directional water flow. Basically, all a continental divide is a ridge, in this case the Rocky Mountains, in which the rain and melting snow will fall down either side of into oceans, lakes, and other bodies of water. Every single continent has a continental divide. The divide happens to be right down the middle of Colorado, just to the west of Denver. People often enjoy hiking along the divide. In total, the Continental Divide Scenic Trail is 3,100 miles long. 740 of these miles are here in Colorado. Typically, it takes 6 months to finish the entire hike. As for me, I prefer to get a good view from Drowsy Water Ranch.
Drowsy Water Ranch, and we are a guest ranch. And we have people come and spend their summer vacations here a week at a time. Every week we have a staff of 25 young people who take care of our guests. This has been a dude ranch since the 1930s when it was started.
What's a dude ranch?
A dude ranch is a ranch where people come who are not used to riding horses and playing with cows and all that. That's what a dude is. And it can also be called a guest ranch. And it started way back in the 1930s and went through a number of different owners. The land that we have is like about 800 acres of land in the middle of the mountains. And we have just a summer season of guests. In the wintertime we have too much snow here to have guests. And so in the summertime we have guests come from all over the world that stay with us for a week at a time from the 1st of June till the middle of September. And they eat all their meals here. They stay in our cabins. They do horseback riding. We do evening activities like a dance night and a hay ride and fun things like that. They're all family type entertainment. And we have a staff usually of about 30 some young people who work for us, college students and so forth. And our family, my wife and I, Randy Sue, and I, we have two boys, Ryan and Justin, and both of them are married and their wives work here. And we have 3 grandchildren, Peyton and Chase are Justin and Greta's, and Scotty is Ryan and Ellen's. And so they're being raised here on the ranch the same as Justin and Ryan were. In the summertime, the main thing we do is horseback riding. And we're in the middle of the mountains, so our trails go up on the mountain ridges where you get views of the Continental Divide and mountains that are, some of them close to 14,000 feet high, that you can see from up on our rides. Every day, a normal day, people come in and we serve them breakfast. Then they go and get on their horses. Each person rides the same horse all week long. They get on their horses and go out for a trail ride in the mountains. Some of the rides might be an hour long and some of them might be 2.5 hours long. Then they come back for lunch, and in the afternoon they can go out and ride horses again on another trail ride in the mountains and come back. And then after supper every evening we have some sort of entertainment where we do a dance night sometimes, and we have hay rides and campfires, one for the kids and one for adults another night. And let's see, that's a lot of what we do here. We also have about 120 horses, I don't know if I said that yet, of all different sizes and shapes and colors and abilities, so that people can, different types of riders, people who are experienced at riding can get a horse that takes an experienced rider, or beginners can get a horse that will take care of them. We also have about 45 head of mama cows who have their calves, and they're out in the summertime grazing up in the backcountry, eating grass and raising their calves. Once fall comes in September, we close down, middle of September. Then after that, we do maintenance where we fix up the things that broke during the summer and feed the cattle. We have to feed the horses and the cattle hay every single day all winter long. And the horses, 120 horses will eat about 1 ton, over 2,000 pounds of hay a day. And our cows eat about 1,200 pounds of hay every day in the wintertime when the snow's deep. The snow here at the ranch gets to be sometimes about 3 or 4 feet deep in the wintertime. So there's not much you can do other than we do cross-country skiing and stuff like that. But our main, then we do all of our office work to book the families that are going to be coming the next summer, and hiring staff and everything for the next summer and so forth. And that's the way our year goes every year. So that's pretty much summarizes what we do here.
Do you think you could talk about the history of Drowsy Water?
Okay. It was just a ranch. There was a couple ranches here back in the 1930s, and then there was a man from Chicago who came out and wanted to build a dude ranch. He just had a dream of doing that, so he bought up these ranchers' land and started building some cabins and stuff like that, and advertising for people to come stay with him right around the end of the 1930s. And so that's how it started. There probably was just a few cabins then, and they probably took maybe 20 guests or something like that. And now our capacity is about 55 guests every week. So through the years, it went through several different owners till 1977, when Randy, Sue, and I bought it, and we've had it ever since. We're the longest owners of it, and it's been 44 years that we've been here. And so that's sort of the history. It just was homesteaders up here, and then they start building it into a dude ranch.
So, will your kids take over the ranch someday?
They sort of are already.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm trying to retire someday, but our both sons and daughter-in-laws work here full-time at the ranch too, so they're taking more and more of it over. So.
Do you think you could talk about the history of ranches in general over here in this area?
In this area, these are the mountains, so ranches on the plains in Kansas and Colorado, ranches were out there in the early 1800s, but up in the mountains it was such rugged country that people didn't start coming up here to try to build ranches until the late 1800s or so.
What do you think would be a good definition of a ranch before you continue?
A ranch? A ranch is a place where you raise animals primarily. And a dude ranch is just another type of a ranch where you raise animals, and like horses, but you have people from outside come as visitors and ride them and stuff. And in general, a ranch doesn't have guests come like we do. They just raise hay and they feed their cows and raise their calves and sell them in the fall and so forth. So we're a little different. We do those things, plus we entertain guests all summer long.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, does that give you an idea?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Howdy folks, I've been asked by